Hey, how's it, guys? My name is DJ Nippy as usual. NippyCast. This will be episode, I think, 10. In fact, I think I should not even say which episode, because sometimes we have to recall these things. You'll never know when other people are disputing other things. But I know this is a continuation of NippyCast volume 6 or episode 6 with Craig Mukhuba, where we left off talking about conspiracy theories. We touched on a whole lot of conspiracy theories that time. I think it was a month or two back. Craig, welcome back to NippyCast. Great seeing you. Been alive and not dead from the COVID.
Hey, Nippy, I came back from the belly of the beast.
Are you serious?
There was a time when I was laid low for 2 weeks. Terrible, terrible thing. I don't want to wish that thing on anybody. COVID is real, and it will show you stars.
But Craig, is this the one you told me about before, or is this a second infection?
No, this happened to me in July.
Oh, okay. This is before we did the other recording, right?
Yeah.
Oh, this is the one you told me about.
No, this was after.
After the recording. So you caught another one?
Yeah, this time I got ill. The first one, I was not ill.
Fuck. Sorry, man. Also, the time when you were mute, you were about to die there.
Well, I wouldn't say, I was like in a very bad state. So, who knows? And the good thing is that my lungs were not acting up. So I was fortunate in that regard. I spent just the time being unable to eat most of the time, and very weak, dizzy, and with a massive headache, and everything tasted funny. Even water tasted funny.
Because apparently they say there's no taste, so maybe the funny part is you can't taste it, and then your brain is probably fighting the fact that you can't taste anything, and then everything becomes fuzzy.
Yeah, you see, water is tasteless. It's tasteless naturally.
Yeah.
But in that instance, there was a funny taste about the water.
Like how? Do you want to explain how it tasted like?
I can't explain it. It just didn't taste like water.
What? Yeah. And then how did you feel up here by your lungs? I mean.
No, my chest had no problem. The problem was that my body felt like I'm waking up every day after being beaten up the entire night. Yes. I could barely walk for like 5 meters. I had to lie down most of the time. I had no taste. I had no smell sense. It was just bad. I couldn't eat because food was tasteless. Whenever I tried to eat, I couldn't eat much. And I actually eventually asked a friend to bring me maheu,
which is a bit better to swallow.
Yes, just to swallow, so that there's something in my stomach.
Yeah, I need to keep up something.
And this lasted 2 weeks.
So the part where you didn't want to eat, do you think it has to do with appetite or because you just couldn't taste? Does it matter if you could taste, or do you just want to fill up your tummy?
Well, the fact is, when I ate something, it just didn't feel it. There was nothing that says I must continue eating. Like I would eat a little piece and just stop. And
so appetite is also impacted.
The appetite part is also impacted because you must remember that appetite goes with taste. You have appetite because you can taste the things that you're eating.
And the smell.
You can't taste something.
And the smell as well.
And the smell as well. You can't smell, you can't taste. So
no. I mean, the smell sometimes can make you try to eat. Like smell can drive your appetite. Yes. I think sometimes. Like I'm passing by a KFC and they're not hungry, but hey, that thing you can smell. I want some piece of wings.
Yes, it can entice you to want to eat.
Yeah, so it kind of like manipulates your thought. Oh shit! So this thing has.
Yeah, imagine picking up like a pen and chewing it.
It doesn't taste like a pen. That's funny. Okay, so, do you think if you were not vaccinated, you were going to survive it?
Well, it's hard to say because, each person's immune system has got its own capabilities. And I've never been ill in my life. That was the first time.
Yeah.
So, basically, my immune system has always been very strong. So I probably would have survived it even if it wasn't for the vaccine. But the fact is, I'd rather say that the vaccine did help.
Okay, because the first time you survived it
because
prior.
Also, if you look at my recovery period,
yeah,
the whole thing lasted 2 weeks. People like have that thing, they go for months and more.
And sometimes they give in. Sometimes it doesn't. The bed
and
flies
it gets
out.
worse.
Yeah.
And it gets worse. The trend is that it gets worse, and your chest gets infected. I never got any chest infection. My chest was fine. I was breathing properly, and I was not. There was no episodes of coughing when I slept. I slept completely.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you're saying your immune is good for it to an extent where you got it first prior vaccination and you're okay, but it was a different variant, I think.
Yeah, it was. This time it was the Delta, which
is a bit more lethal.
Is a whole lot more. It's a different ball game altogether. The first strain did not do much to me. It caused me to have headaches, and that was it.
Okay. So then we'll never know if you didn't take the vaccine, and anything could have happened. Maybe we're not going to be having this interview today.
Like I said to you, I say, I would say I had a vaccine, and probably that helped a lot.
You see, which is the reason why we're having a chat today on NippyCast. This is the Conspiracy Theory Continuation Edition, where we started off with NippyCast Volume 6 a while back. You can go back to our archive and check it out. So today we're going to continue. Same pattern, because remember, we can go on about conspiracies until we're blue in the face. So today I just wanted us to probably just touch on a bit. I compiled a list of probably the top 5, but the number 6 will be the COVID that we're going to close this dialogue with. Well, Craig, I don't know if you've been monitoring the affairs of astrological affairs and astronomical affairs over the past weekend. Did you see the asteroid that passed Earth?
Yeah, I read about it.
You read about it. Obviously, you were not going to see it because it was 3 million kilometers away. Unless if you've got Robocop's eyes.
Yeah, and I do not keep telescopes in my house.
Unless we've got the mother of all telescopes, like we were saying last time. I said I need a telescope to pinpoint the flag, the USA flag in the moon. So look, I created a conspiracy over the weekend as we're going into the whole dialogue, ne? And I think I did WhatsApp you this thing. For me, and I did hint I did hint it on the previous chat on the NippyCast 6, the first edition of Conspiracy Theories. So, but Craig, before I go into it, please introduce yourself one more time, because you know me, I get carried away and I maybe introduce yourself, because I'm gonna say you're my friend Craig Mukhuba. You're a marketing expert. You've got a firm or company, marketing firm called Brand Catapult. Do you want to add more on top of that?
And a lot of people call me a jack of all sorts of trades, which I accept with a whole lot of humility.
Okay.
Because I am a knowledge seeker primarily, and it helps me to know these things that I know. And I was brought up to seek knowledge, to read a lot, and to seek to be clarifying a whole lot of things, so that in terms of time, I could be able to share my knowledge with other people. So I pride myself in being a very avid reader and a researcher, and hence I do the kind of work that I do, because it requires a whole lot of research and the understanding of human behavior. So yes, that's about me. My name is Craig Mukhuba. I was born and raised in a village in Venda called Kuvi. It's still a home that I spend a lot of time at. But I live in Joburg. I've been living in Joburg now for 30 years. You're a long time.
You're old.
Well, what the time I spent in Joburg is old, or me personally?
Holistically.
Well, let me tell you something, Nipro. A man is as old as he feels, and I feel young. So everything else.
I think that's the right attitude. Okay, well, there you have it. That's Craig. So for me, I wanted to create a conspiracy just to prove how stupid this whole thing is. How conspiracy theories are so stupid. I'm coming up with a new one. It's 2 days old, Chief. The asteroid. Past year, I think it was traveling at the speed of 92,000 kilometers per hour. It passed on Saturday, which was probably, I think, 3.5 million years, not years, sorry, 3.5 million kilometers away from this planet. Okay, well, if you want to talk about the distance, if you were to compare to how far the moon is probably like, what, 300,000, 400,000 kilometers from here. So where that thing passed was like 10 times the distance of where the moon is currently. So now, my conspiracy is that this thing was discovered in 2016. They named it something 2016. So the odds are that these guys saw this thing. I'm talking about the guys at NASA, all those space administration companies, or probably even the Russians. The Chinese have the administration company, right? Like the Chinese have a NASA Nyana of the China.
They do have a space program too. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
they've got a robot on Mars currently as we speak,
which we spoke about the last time. So I mean, most companies have. I mean, not most countries have got space administration firms or organizations. Cool, they could have picked it up.
Developed countries. Only the developed countries, Nipro. That you're talking about, China, Russia,
America,
and China, Russia, the USA. Europe has got a collective. There is a space agency for Europe, which is a partnership amongst all the Eastern Europe, West European countries.
Oh, okay. So, but they are well aware of what's going on out there, compared to us who don't have here in South Africa or in Africa. I mean, they would know what's going on prior it happens, even years before it happens, right?
Yeah, but here we do have an observatory called the Meerkat, which is actually its purpose is to observe some such things.
Is that capable of telling us 4 years in advance?
People who work there, who work in the observatory are able to see these things and because these agencies all share data and information. So the announcement might not come from South Africa, but the fact is, the scientists who work in these observatories, they all share data.
So it could be me here figuring it out, and then I share with the community, and then we announce it.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because once you make such an observation, it's not owned by you. You share the information with others, and others like zoom in, and then they
verify.
See that what you're talking about. That's verification process, so that somebody must not just come and they've been drinking cognac and they.
and bullshit us and say, yeah, the world is ending. Okay. Well, I understand. That makes sense. Cool. It's good that we've got a Machingilano of space, eh? Imagine. Security guard that is...
South Africa, we up there with the best.
Imagine if we'd never had this, some of these meteorites will just hit us, or asteroids would hit us. I'm not going to go into the difference between the two. I'll keep mixing up the difference between asteroids.
We even have a satellite in space, by the way, Nipro. We've got a Sumbandira satellite, which is orbiting in space.
I think I've heard of it, and it was launched a couple of years ago. And I think I heard it on radio before.
Yeah, it was launched last year, actually.
It was last year, because I think I heard it some on radio some while back. Oh, okay. Cool. Why did they name it Ngachivenda?
Sumbandera, well, it's one of the official languages, and Sumbandera is something that points the way. So it's a very good name.
Oh, well, yeah. If you think of it from a context perspective, it can show us what's coming to hit us, so it can show us the way. If anything is coming. Okay. No, it's fine. So, but my conspiracy is that, what if these guys see this thing? It's, let's just say, hypothetically speaking, it's coming towards us. Maybe this thing is the size of what? This one was what? The one that passed now was a kilometer, and 1.3 kilometers. Is it long or diameter?
They said
radius?
They said it was the size of they said it was the size of the Empire State Building.
Well, that's fucking huge, though. You don't want something like that huge to land on.
It's massive.
It's massive, and the speed as well. You don't want anything at that size to land on this planet at that speed, right? It will be like almost an Armageddon, right? You know. So well, what if maybe these guys knew about it coming to hit us in 2016. Hence, they named it whatever 2016. And then they didn't tell us. But they made a plan, and then they fronted as if they're trying to go to Mars and trying to launch space. Have you realized recently they're doing these space programs? There's Elon Musk, there's George Bezos, there's all those rich people, and who else? Richard Branson. They're trying to go into space. Don't you think maybe while they were busy doing those funny activities, saying we're launching this, we're testing this, what if they were nuking this thing and to derail it from our planet? Because they don't want to tell us so that we don't panic, because that will be like the end of the world. That's my conspiracy. Because we're gonna we're gonna die, and we're gonna start killing each other and then looting and shit. And it's just you see, that's the thing. Most of the conspiracy creators feel like or sound like, when you listen to it, it's like they've been smoking some shit we've never heard of, which we're gonna go into now. Let's go into, like I said, I'm just trying to create something to show you how stupid conspiracy theories can be. So now let's go to the first one. I have got flat earthers here. Flat earthers, I bump into them almost now and then on social media. They even have groups with 1 million followers. They think the world is flat.
Yeah, I suppose, if your brain is flat, you'd think the world is flat.
What is that your explanation? Should it debunk this, or is it just stupid for us? Because give me some.
Look, Nipro, to be honest, there's no need to debunk this. You can see the Earth from space, and you can see that it's not flat. So, if we're going to...
No, but they're saying they've never been to space. They're saying that they've never been to space. They've been given pictures by NASA or whoever. And then what if it was orchestrated in the...
given pictures. They can see video footage of space.
No, they're saying that video... They say the video is like a movie. It was shot in studio. And then some of these things are like holograms that are just put out there.
Okay, let me ask this question, Nipro. So let's say the Earth was flat.
Yeah.
What is it floating on, and how is it floating?
I don't know.
How deep is this flat thing?
I don't know.
And how wide is it?
Should have a NippyCast.
Where are the boundaries?
Should have a NippyCast with a flat earther, maybe. I don't know, my man. I'm not gonna defend them.
No, exactly, Paul, because if you engage in this discussion, a flat earther must tell you that yes, the Earth is flat. Fine, okay.
Explain it.
How deep is it?
How the fuck does it work?
Yeah, is it like a tree? Because it's like a tree that has got a flat top.
Exactly.
And if it's like a tree that has got a flat top, how tall is this tree? Because if it's flat and it's deep, it must be tall. So how tall is it? How far down does it go after the flat surface? And where are the boundaries? Where does this thing end? Where which country is
the last one?
The edge of Earth.
Because somebody once said that thing of the edge. Can I, like, if I'm surfing, can I surf to the edge and fall into space?
Exactly. Or when you fall down, you'll see the entire Earth, the soil, where the soil ends, and the rocks and all other things. And you can see oil there gushing out.
Actually, if it's ending there. If it's ending there, we should even run out of oceanic water, because then it goes out.
The water is flowing over the edge like a waterfall. So basically, the whole thing is like dead on arrival, really.
Without even, I don't want us to kill time on this, because my main focus here is COVID tonight. But for me, a simple one. If you look at the sun and if you look at the moon, they're all in a form of a disc shape. And then everything out there, or other planets, even if you haven't been to probably Jupiter and then Saturn and then all of them, look, they're all circular, in a form of a ball shape. So the Earth is the only one that is like flat, like this. And then a simple thing, and then so the sun goes where? So the sun keeps coming back as a new sun every day. There's almost all those things that we can talk about. It's one of the top 5 stupid theories that are compiled. So now, theory number 2, fuck the flat earthers. Look, to be honest with you, I think these are the guys that we should just put on a spaceship, to show them how of a globe it is, and then we don't return them back. Then they can just keep going. We don't want them here.
No. You need to hospitalize them and wean them off the drugs.
Yeah, usually it's people who are on drugs. So theory number 2, one of the top 5 that I compiled. It's actually synchronized with the COVID. It's the Illuminati and the 666. They've got a belief that the world is being ran by an organized secret society of the Illuminati and the 666, and then this is the mark of the beast, and the devil is in control. The people with money are the ones who dictate what's going on. These are the people who want to chip you with a what you call what do they call it now? It's a Bill Gates chip, and then Illuminati and 666. What's your take? I mean, it's been going on for a while. I'm in the entertainment industry, and I've heard a whole lot of stories. I was chatting to some guy last week. I couldn't believe he was telling me stories. I'm like, wow. So you think like when these people are on stage, they are praising some devil, but people are dancing like, yeah, it's the devil, is there with the horn. Haven't you seen the sounds that Eminem makes and Beyonce makes? The Illuminati and Jay-Z. Oh. And these are people who worked hard for their riches. And these are people who wrote lyrics every day for the rest of their lives. And now they're making it, and people are accusing them of some third unfair force. What's your take on that one?
Let me tell you this, Nipro. The hallmark of a secret organization is the fact that it is secret. Nobody knows anything about it.
Craig,
if you hear people talking about something in public,
there's a helicopter passing. That was a bit too loud. Maybe the Illuminati is watching us. Well, yeah, say that again. You're saying the whole point of a secret society is what?
The hallmark of a secret society, in the mold of the so-called Illuminati, is the secrecy. If it exists, nobody knows about it because they don't talk about it to anybody outside that organization.
It's a secret society.
If I was a member of a secret, I beg your pardon?
It's a secret society, so it's a secret. Simple.
Yes, so nobody will know about it. So if somebody is talking about it, then there's no such a thing as a secret society. This is things that people, there's no difference between this kind of this kind of utterances as from somebody saying that, there's somebody bewitching them. Yeah. They saw some feathers of an owl next to their window or something like that. So basically, you are saying that there's somebody that you've never seen doing anything to you, who is coming to your house to bewitch you. For what? Because a lot of people say such things, you'll wonder why they deserve to be bewitched. Because you find that a whole lot of them don't have anything. They don't add any value in anybody's life. They're not threatening anyone. But somehow there's somebody who just wants to bewitch.
You see,
there's somebody who's jealous. I don't know whether they're breathing in too much oxygen, and so this guy wants to eliminate that threat of the oxygen getting depleted because that person is alive.
They don't want them to finish their oxygen.
Yes, they don't want them to finish their oxygen. Those kind of things. But so, when people start telling you that Jay-Z is a member of the Illuminati, actually, who saw him going to a meeting and who told somebody that Jay-Z is a member of the Illuminati if the Illuminati exists at all? Because the Illuminati will be an organization where people have got something called Ormeta. When the mafia started, before the mafia started, it started being infiltrated.
Yeah.
By spies and all sorts of things.
Yeah.
There was an oath called Ormeta that they took.
What does Ormeta mean?
It's an oath of silence.
Okay. If you don't remain silent, then we get rid of you. I think that should be the punishment.
Yes, that's it. So secret organizations have got such kind of operations so that they remain secret.
Yes. To maintain the whole street credibility of this organization. Yeah.
Yes. So now I can tell you now, I don't disbelieve that there are secret organizations in the world. But we don't know about them because they are secret.
They're not designed for us to know anything about them. Because you know that I've seen, even in the streets, if you go like to most of the CBDs in the country now, you see these penis enlargement adverts. They even have Illuminati adverts to say, do you want to be rich? Do you want to join the Illuminati? Call this number. I'm not making this shit up. I'm not making this shit up.
I'm sure there's some prophet who's saying to you, I can open the door for you to join the Illuminati.
Why doesn't he join and become rich? Because look, for me, it pisses me off when you see people working very hard. Very, very hard. You know, there are people who work hard. Some people don't sleep.
Yeah.
Work very, very hard. But when these people make it in life and make a lot of money, or millions and millions of dollars or rands, whatever, currency, now they get accused of having a snake or the Illuminati or 666. You know.
Yeah, you actually nailed it, Nepro. That's actually what happened. Lazy people have got nothing to do but create stories that are not substantiated, and to create a space where people have got a void when it comes to information. Because when there's no information, people are very easily put in a position where they have to nibble at any little piece of information that comes out, even though it's not information, but it's just falsehoods.
Ridiculous concept ever. Okay, cool, it's fine. We can go on and on and on about this one. So number 3, a simple, stupid one. I remember this one. I was still at high school in 1997. Tupac died, and then they said he didn't die. He's still alive. He's staying in an island somewhere. This conspiracy number 3 out of the top 5 I compiled. He's in an island somewhere. Somebody said Jamaica or Cuba or wherever. They keep coming up with different names. Like he's coming up, and every single year Tupac will come with a new song or something. But I mean, he died after recording so many songs, and some of them were not released. So every year was Suge Knight and them, and he was with who? Death Row. They kept having they sustained. Most of his pre-recorded material to prolong,
of course,
know.
Yeah.
Yes.
All the big artists have got such a vault of unreleased stuff. So it's easy to keep churning out new releases way past, post-mortem.
Post-death. Because I can tell you, like with our stable, we've got a whole lot of artists. Our stable is Primetainment in Pretoria. When I ever go, I'm gonna go work there during the course of the week. Whenever I go there, my man, the amount of content we have in that whole what you call storage facility, it's enough to run us for 5 years. So if you come and bomb all those artists there and they all die, and one person remains and they know where the files are, we can still release for so long. It doesn't mean that we are still alive.
Absolutely.
So but this is what happened to Tupac now. Just because he had a new album the next year and the next year and the next year, they're like, yeah, no, he's rapping from a secret place, so he just doesn't want us to know. Look, for me, this one I can debunk it so easily. If you're a Tupac fan and you know how Tupac is, Tupac has been the most flamboyant motherfucker ever by far. I mean, I'm sure anybody who's watching this can agree. Are you trying to tell me that this guy can remain silent? How long has it been now? 25 years? He'll just sit there and be like, I'm not talking, I'm dead. Knowing Tupac, at the rate he was so flamboyant against probably even the American government, against just systems, just things that are just going wrong in life. Is it possible? Let us use general knowledge to say, if you knew Tupac from his rap, how would he not rap for 25 years if he's alive? It's like me not DJing for like a couple of months. I'll feel sick. Like how would you stop that guy from
Absolutely. And you would still need to earn a living after all.
Besides even a living, there's something that dies. There's no way you can keep a poetic person from unleashing or portraying.
From expressing their poetry, yes.
There's no way.
Their creativity cannot be shackled.
There's no way Tupac would not say anything for 25 years. There's no way. He's not hiding anywhere. He passed on.
Look,
the ashes were thrown in the ocean.
Long before the Tupac saga, there was a guy called Elvis Presley. He died, and his followers kept on saying that he's not dead for years. Actually, you still have people today, like very old, and grizzly.
They must be
They can barely walk, and they say Elvis is not dead.
It must be very old. He's not dead. What year was it again? It was in the 70s, I think, right?
Yeah, I think Elvis died in 74, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, okay.
So imagine this whole thing started a long time ago. There are people who are just fucked up in their heads like that. I mean, look at an icon like Bob Marley, who died, and all his followers and friends accepted that he's dead, even though there were a whole lot of albums that were released of Bob Marley
afterwards.
Nobody claimed that Bob Marley is living on underground somewhere, or on some ivory tower somewhere, and just not showing his face because he's tired of the
Babylon things.
I got tired to see with face.
No, we never heard them saying he's tired of the Babylon things, man. We never had that.
So yeah,
look, it's one of those that people should accept. But well, come to think of it, let me play the devil's advocate on this one, but in this manner, not because I'm going to endorse the conspiracies, because there's probably a flip side of it. Maybe when people say Elvis Presley didn't die, they're not referring to the physical death. Or maybe when people say Tupac didn't die, they're not referring to the physical death. It's equivalent to saying Mandela will never die. So these people's spirits, the way they've influenced society in life in general, they will never be forgotten, whatever word. But what I'm saying is their spirits will forever live amongst us. In that way, physically they're dead, but spiritually they're still within us. I mean, Bob Marley is probably still topping the charts now, dead for so many years. Tupac still topping the charts now, dead for so many years. Today, almost everything is named after Mandela, dead for a couple of years as well. But these are people that shaped our lives, and then we'll never forget them. So in that way, in our thoughts, they are not dead, but they are physically gone. Can I say that?
You're talking for yourself, right?
I don't know. I'm just saying. If I was gonna explain this thing of saying they're not dead, it's not like physical death. It's like we still think of them every single time.
Everybody knows that, Nipro. It doesn't need to be explained. Like even a school kid knows that when somebody leaves a legacy, they don't really die. They continue to live through what they've done when they were alive.
That's the only. Furthest I can stretch my compromisation of saying I'm agreeing with you, but this guy passed on.
You're not compromising anything. You're just expressing the truth.
Nah.
And those people do not believe in your truth. They believe in the figments of their own imagination. And which is like really just said.
And their conspiracy.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Moving on, number 4. 911, September the 11th. The year was 2001, I think. There's this thing of saying, the government was bombing itself. It sent Bin Laden, it trained him, and then they bombed the Twin Towers so that they get insurance money or something like that. And then apparently the plane was not a plane. It was a hologram picture of a bomb. And then it went there. And then those people were trained in America. And then America bombed itself to get sympathy from the world. And then it didn't really happen. It's stupid, but it's part of the top 5.
If you've never been to New York, you can say all sorts of things. But if you've been to New York, you will know that the Twin Towers existed. They ceased to exist, and that thing I watched it live on CNN, so I know.
Say that again. We got cut off for a second. They said again. You're talking about New York.
I said. I'm saying that I've been to New York, and I know what I've seen in New York. The Twin Towers when they were still intact, there, and when they were no longer there.
Yeah.
And I actually watched the 9/11 incident on CNN live
unfolding.
When it was unfolding, actually when the first plane hit and they thought that was the only plane, and then another plane came. So
I also watched. I couldn't believe.
The fact is that there's a whole lot of people who are bored, and when they are bored, they are also lazy to acquire information that will fix their brains in the right way, so that, they can start thinking constructively instead of cutting corners and drawing their own lines, imaginary lines, to create stories.
It's boredom. So basically, are you gonna narrow this thing? I mean, are you gonna take it down to boredom?
Yeah, it's really boredom. When people have got nothing to do, a brain that is never used creates so much shit.
Isn't there a term for it? Isn't there like a saying? They say a brain, what, something. When it's there's a term, and it's not coming to mind now. It will come probably later on. Nichko bore, yes. What you call an idle mind is what?
An idle brain.
Yeah.
An idle brain is a repository for all sorts of bullshit, basically. That's what it boils down to. That's if your brain is not being utilized constructively, it will create its own shit, which is like, you just pick up on anything and create your own thing that you can peddle to those who are your equals, and they will believe you. And I mean, Nipro, look at. You don't have to look far. This is not something that you need to. Every day, there's evidence that people who have got brains that are not active are being led into things that they would not ordinarily do if their brains were active in the right way.
Can I rather say not? Craig, can I rather say? Sorry, Craig, to cut you there. You said people are being led. Ne? Can we rather rephrase that and say they are being misled too? And continue.
Yeah, the leading is actually a mislead.
Misled to whatever.
They are being hoodwinked into following things that have got no substance, no.
My man, you just pulled a new word there.
In terms of believability.
You just pulled a new word for me there. Craig, hoodwinked is what is like being lured off radar.
It's to be fooled.
To be fooled. Misled. Been misled.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
To be fooled.
Okay. Yeah. Keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a dribble.
You've been trapped.
Yeah. So let's take it back to the actual theory that you just spoke about now. Yes. The Americans trained Osama bin Laden.
Yeah.
Yes. Osama bin Laden was trained to run a program in the Middle East that will support U.S. interests. But Osama bin Laden went rogue.
Okay. Going rogue would mean that he started doing his own shit. He went offline.
Yes, he started doing his own thing. Yes, he ditched his masters and started running his own shit.
Just and he did this shit.
And because of that, because the Osama bin Laden's protectors, incidentally, guess who they were in the Middle East? The Taliban.
Okay.
The Taliban.
I didn't know him. I didn't know Osama before 9/11. By the way.
Yeah, well, you see, if you were au fait with the developments of the Afghanistan war, which happened in the 70s into the 80s, where Russia was a key player, the USA was a key player. The USA actually backed the Taliban into power in that conflict.
Okay. So there was a huge political relationship prior the bombing.
Yes, they were like lovey-doveys, like peas in a pod.
Proper.
But the Taliban started training a lot of terrorists that threatened U.S. interests. And the kingpin for that program was Osama bin Laden.
Okay. Okay.
There's no taurela china naumba chichura chaulato. They created their own monster.
No, they created their own boogeyman.
Yeah, they created that. So
and then the Taliban.
That doesn't mean that.
That doesn't mean what?
That doesn't mean that the USA actually practically. I think somebody heard this thing, what I'm telling you now, and the interpretation of it then grew its own feet to say that the 9/11 was deliberate and all that. It was miscalculation. It was a miscalculation that created the monstrosity that became Osama bin Laden. They created Osama bin Laden. They created the Taliban in Afghanistan. But
Ah.
both those came back to haunt them.
Ah, okay. No, I see it. I see it. Look, for me, to be honest with you, the whole theory sounds stupid. I think out of all these four I've been mentioning, this is the most stupid one. There's no way those aeroplanes were or holograms. This is the most stupid, ridiculous thing ever. Okay, cool. Let's move on.
Absolutely. The author of that conspiracy theory just misunderstood the history behind the whole thing. Because if you knew the history, you will know indeed the USA created it. That 9/11 thing was in the making through the policies and the activities that the US pursued over time. They propped up a Taliban government that turned against them. The same Taliban that supported and harbored Osama bin Laden. That's how they created that situation.
It just worked against them. It worked against them at the end.
Yes,
because I was actually
that's what they call it collateral damage.
Oh yes, that's a good way of summing it up. Because I was actually doing some research in the afternoon because I had some other analysts of conspiracy theories saying that out of the group of conspiracy theorists of the 911, now there's two groups. They're split. There's this ones, the new generation that are believing in the hologram airplanes, and now there's the old generation that are believing in the one you're explaining now, where they're saying they bombed themselves. So now those two are like, how the hell do you say this is hologram? And the other ones are saying, no, it was a bomb. No, it was a hologram. So now the two conspiracy theorists are fighting over who's right and just over something that is so stupid. But we all know that the things were bombed and people died. And then, it was one of the biggest probably disaster in the world for the longest time, for over the past 2 decades or so. But we know there's other fights out there and people die and whatnot. I don't want to go into those theories. But now, the fifth one, before we go into the COVID-19, as we sum up this, there is a guy, but this one is going to be a twist, Craig. I'm sure I don't think you're ready for this one. Edward Snowden. At first, Edward, when he came out, because I want to prove, I just gave you the foremost bullshit, but Edward Snowden one is a bit slightly accurate. I'm going to explain it, and then you're going to tell me if you want to debunk it or if it's bullshit. Edward Snowden did tell us that the government is listening to us, right?
Yeah.
Yes. And then people are like, oh, you're crazy. The government can listen to you. You've got rights. When you press whatever, you say it's secret. And people will always talk. And then he pulled out evidence. And then he came out. And right now, as you speak, he's hiding in Russia. And then these guys are after him, saying he broke the law of whatever information or whatever. What you call it? What's the law he broke again? Confidential or of the intelligence or whatever society.
It's security. It broke. It's classified information security laws in the USA.
So they want probably jail him based on that. But for him, he felt like it's not fair to listen to people's conversations without telling them that we might listen to you without your consent, right? I think that was his bottom line to say he was probably like an activist, I think, on this one, right? And net of an activist. Yeah. So, but he did say this prior, but people are like, oh, it's a conspiracy. There's no way the government can listen to it. But he proved it later on. So don't you think some of these conspiracies, there's a truth attached, there's some element of truth attached to it? Or is it all bullshit?
Well, you see that the issue of the government listening, that the CIA's job is to listen to people.
Yeah, but
it was created exactly for that.
For the safety of the civilians, I think, right? For the safety of everybody else. We just need to know who's gonna bomb next, I think.
Yeah, it's all about state security.
Yeah.
The government listens to people.
Yeah.
It could well be that they don't listen to everybody all the time.
And I can tell you why. I can tell you, sorry, Craig, to cut you there. I can tell you why they don't listen to everybody all the time. For the CIA or the intelligence society to listen to everybody all the time, they would need the same number of people they're listening to listen. Like if we've got 7.6 billion people in the world, you need another. You have to manufacture another group of 7.6 billion people to listen to 7. Do you get what I'm saying? So you will be selective on the high risk, and you narrow it down to high. What you call you prioritize.
You have watched the series People of Person of Interest.
Yeah. It used to be my favorite. I remember it. Yeah.
Yes, it's a similar situation that they compile a list of people of interest.
Yeah.
That they need to listen to,
and then
the people that are associated to those people,
and they focus on
and
those
it's
ones.
a focused thing. Yeah, it's a focused thing, and it could well spill over into Nipro, who doesn't know that I am connected to a person of interest, so therefore the government is listening to me.
Next thing, when you're over the phone, you can hear some line there coming in, but you don't know who the fuck is.
Absolutely. So there's nothing new about that one. It happens, and it happens because each country runs a state security apparatus which listens to people of interest.
And then even before Snowden exposed them, they were listening. FBIs have been listening to people for the longest time, since the discovery of these gadgets that can listen to other people's landlines and phones and shit.
They've been listening to people forever. Governments listen to people. There's nothing new in that.
Is the government listening to you now?
I have no idea. I don't know if I'm connected to any person of interest.
Yeah, you'll never know.
Or if I'm a person of interest myself.
You'll never know. Cool. So let's jump into COVID-19 conspiracy theories. I want us to focus on misinformation. The reason why we triggered this, I think you suggested it last weekend, that we should go in now, digging deeper now. We're going to go granular on this because it's becoming an issue. It's becoming a very serious issue, because right now, for me, I'm tired of sitting at home. I'm tired of not working. I'm in the entertainment space. I'm not making money. I'm probably the most broke person in the world, because we can't operate. But now these people are holding us back. They're saying they don't want to vaccinate because this thing, I don't know. I'm handing this over to you. Please just summarize all the bullshit of the theories, and I'll come with my one of COVID-19, and then let's be as realistic as possible. I want somebody out there who's watching this thing to say, well, maybe they were wrong. Oh, well, maybe they were right. And I want us to be fair. We're not being biased, because I've been accused of being sponsored by the Department of Health because I always promote vaccines. And the other day, they even came here. They were interviewing me about some program of awareness. And they asked me, why do I always promote the vaccine on social media? Who's paying you? I'm like, wow, imagine the Department of Health is asking me who's paying me, and people are saying they are paying me. Nobody's paying me. I'm doing it because it's the only right thing to do. So I want us to be
it's your civil responsibility
to just share information, because it's gonna suck balls when I'm tired of burying people. I'm tired of burying people, ignorant people, because they believe something is out there to kill them. We spoke about this on NippyCast 6 on vaccines. We've all been vaccinated before. We talked about the mark on the top of thing is not the devil's mark. We all survived polio. Our kids go to clinic, they get vaccinated, they've got programs. But the same father of the child who was at the clinic this morning getting a vaccine is saying that the vaccine of flu, of COVID, will kill them. And then Bill Gates wants to chip them, and I don't know. The most ridiculous one I had this weekend was now the people at the tax rank at Nord are saying this thing causes erectile dysfunction. Like, okay, fuck, even if it does, would you rather die because you want to pump, or would you rather just compromise pumping because you want to live? Please, man, can I hand this one over to you?
Well, I gotta assure you, Nipro, I've had my first shot, and my erectile is not dysfunctional.
Oh wow! Do you have like any reference we can ask?
Well, I would have to ask them first.
I'm kidding. Yeah.
Now I want to take you through this in a manner that the tragicomic nature of these theorists is this one, because everybody that I speak to who is anti-vaccination at ground level, like somebody says, no, I'm not going to vaccinate because of ABC, and I ask them, which doctor told you that? Now, you discover that they heard this story from their uncle, who is a taxi driver, who heard it from a traffic cop who stopped them at a roadblock.
No, from a crew marshal.
Yes, some such kind of thing.
I'm not looking down on crew marshal, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, some such kind of thing.
It's almost like that.
Now, I asked, okay, well, now, when you want when you want your child to go to school, do you send them to a taxi rank or do you send them to school? I send them to school. Why? Because that's where teachers are. All right.
Not in the
Now,
Texas.
somebody who works for the municipality at removing dustbins comes to you and tells you the vaccine is not fine. You believe that person. You don't go and ask the doctor that you see every time that you got a flu or something and ask them, hey, is this thing true? No, you don't go to the doctor. You believe the dustbin remover. Why? It doesn't make sense.
Let me give another support that one with an angle. Not being biased to what you're saying, because we need to be very neutral on this one, because people think that we are being paid. Like earlier on, I did say nobody pays me for this shit, right? It's the truth. It's the truth. When we think about it with our heads, it's the truth. Cool. The dustbin guy. Now, let's say whoever is listening to the dustbin guy, let's use which company? Pick it up, right? Pick it up dustbin guy. He works there. And then now doctor, let me pick a hospital. Give me a hospital maybe on your side. Give me any hospital. Let's use the Helen Joseph.
Helen Joseph.
The pick it up guy and the doctor at Helen Joseph. Let's say this person who's listening to the dustbin guy was born at Helen Joseph. On the day when they were being born at Helen Joseph, and we were to say, let's remove the doctor and ask the pick it up guy to come and deliver and finish the whole process of delivery, would the parents agree to let the pick it up guy to finish off the medical process of giving birth? So why does this person, after being born by the same doctor, by being removed from their mother's womb by the same doctor, who's telling you now that this is the best thing for you for not dying, to prevent you from not dying from this thing, now you go believe the other guy who has got no medical knowledge whatsoever of this? Even if they read about medicine at the library or on newspaper, why would you go for that one and not trust the one who was probably delivering you and you could have probably just suffocated in your mother's womb?
Absolutely.
Why? I mean, I'm just trying to support the part where we need to choose who to listen to. I'm trying to support the part where we need to choose.
No sense.
It
makes no sense at all, because now look at it. They say it changes your DNA. And I ask, okay, do you know anybody whose DNA has been changed? And this DNA was changed into what? Into the DNA of a snake? Into the DNA of a bird?
Or a worm?
DNA of a lion? What are you telling me?
Or you become a worm. So or it could mean that maybe if I was my father's child, next thing I'm your child, my DNA is changed. Is that what the fuck they're trying to say?
They say it creates a state in your body that makes you behave like a robot. You hear things and you respond to those things which are not naturally, they're not naturally part of your perceptions.
Like a zombie.
Now,
like a zombie.
Now, I ask, who do you know who behaves like that? Do you have a relative as a reference point who's been behaving like this? These are the same people, Nipro, who very, very, very crazy, who would say the same thing that I said at the beginning. There's somebody bewitching me. Last night, I couldn't sleep because my body was itching all over. Yeah. And you just don't, you know that if your body itches all over, it means that you're not bathing properly. Just take a fucking bath and you'll be fine.
With a Dettol.
That's how it works.
With a Dettol.
Yeah, not even with Dettol, with soap. Because aran namakwanda with the totonero. That's how it works.
Do you know why I'm saying Dettol? We realize that this virus has been around for a while, because Corona has been there. It's just that it was not at a COVID level prior. It was not as lethal.
Yes.
At the back of Dettol detergents, they even wrote it protects you from Corona. The time we discovered Corona.
The crown virus is the same virus that causes flu. It's the coronavirus is a crown virus, which is similar to the flu virus and other respiratory disorder viruses.
Which
is
it's more like the base of
coronavirus
this.
Coronavirus has always been there.
Yes, because I remember, I think the first time there's viruses like SARS, SARS, if you remember, SARS is also a respiratory.
Yeah, that's a coronavirus.
It's a coronavirus. Even
bird flu, that's a coronavirus as well.
Bird flu is a coronavirus. Even MERS flu was also a coronavirus, right?
Yes. Anything that causes any virus that infects the upper respiratory system is a coronavirus.
And then if you check in between all these names of this flu, can I say flus or flu, whatever, there's always a respiratory acknowledgement on it. Like MERS stands for Middle Eastern Respiratory Syndrome, I think, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and then SARS stands for whatever, but the other thing is for respiratory as well. And then
absolutely.
And then there was also swine. Swine was also big. Swine was hectic. Swine was also there. What's the other one? There's been a bunch. So for the past probably 2 decades, we've been probably vaccinated. I've been vaccinating all my life, like I've been saying. It's not a secret. Nobody sent me.
Absolutely.
Nobody even sent me to say this thing. I'm just trying to share knowledge, because some people just had the word vaccine just a year ago. Now the experts of bullshit, like this thing, you're gonna become a zombie.
Yeah, when they were being inoculated, they did not know they were being vaccinated.
Exactly.
They just thought it's like it's a clinic visit.
You see, so yeah. Going back to your point, I disturbed you there. You can continue on what you're saying.
So you see, these conspirators. One actually is left wondering what is the benefit of creating such falsehoods, especially when there's such a high risk of economic collapse for the country, and there are people who are actually suffering because of the spread of COVID. And industries are collapsing. Now, you ask yourself, is there somebody who's fueling this, or is this just some mischief, or is just some problem of misinformed
society,
gullibility and bullshit? Look at this. I'll give you a very, very classical example of a president of Tanzania who started his own conspiracy theories himself. Like they tested an avocado and it tested positive.
Oh, yes. I remember that one. We touched on it on the previous...
And then what happened? He died of fucking COVID.
And then the funny part is conspiracy theorists don't know when to stop. Even when there's a solution, like we're proving that this denialist died from COVID, they're going to say, no, they killed him.
He was killed, yes.
The illuminati
the favorite repository from the...
Yeah, they're going to say Bill Gates and the Illuminati killed him so that they can prove that this president is not behaving according to the New World Order.
and can you imagine the amount of monies that governments are spending to acquire vaccines? Money that are being diverted from domestic stimulation programs that could create jobs and boost economies. Those monies are being diverted to making sure that there are vaccines available to stem the explosion of COVID.
And then we even borrowing from the MI. What's this MI? I mean, where are we borrowing from again? WMI.
From the. No, you see when you say it so rapidly.
Which one is it?
Yeah, something
monetary.
International Monetary Fund, IMF.
IMF, yes. And we have to do so much and then have a credit on this of billions and billions of dollars to something that people are thinking that doesn't exist and has been fabricated. Are we that stupid?
Yeah. And even if when their relatives die, they find time to go and find a sangoma to determine how that person died, when the person died of COVID. And do you expect those people to believe that it is necessary to vaccinate when they can go and see a sangoma, and then the sangoma says, no, it is your uncle who lives about 50 kilometers away, who's visiting you every night at the back of an owl to bewitch you and kill you.
No, on a
when
broomstick.
You just simply went to a place where you got infected.
On a broomstick, like... But Craig, no, wait. I've got a problem. Nowadays, most of these medical experts, or should I say, the postmortem people, I think they're becoming lazy, some of them. Some deaths are not necessarily COVID-related, but I think they just create a generic explanation. As much as some of the things have got comorbidities.
I understand that, Nipro, but that doesn't give a license to the naysayers to create the kind of doubt that the seed of doubt that they plant in the mind of those that are not well informed to make proper decisions. Because when somebody that you respect comes to you and say, Nipro, don't do this thing. It's bad. It's going to do ABC to you. As a lay person, you sort of defer to that person because you think that person knows better than you. Even if that person knows nothing and they're just bullshitting because they can.
Yeah.
Now, you've got a whole slew of people that are being led into that path of believing in bullshit and being denied the opportunity to protect themselves and their families from this devastating pandemic. Now, there's got to be a line drawn in the sand that we need to push back against these conspiracy theories because, amongst others, like I said at the beginning, they will never point to a doctor and say that doctor came up with these theories. Or that group of scientists came up with these theories. We know that.
But Craig, I saw somebody last night. I think it was in the news. Some group of protests. Protesters in Cape Town. There's one lady who claims to be in the medical space. She gave some medical terms to convince us. So there are some people in the medical space that are also in the denial lists.
Yes, but you must remember that a lot of those that are there. You find that actually a lot of them are religious zealots. And they try
what the fuck? What do you mean, my man?
Yes.
Religious zealots like how? What do you mean?
There are people who say that they cannot be vaccinated for religious reasons.
Oh, you mean?
And obviously you'll find amongst them people who are medical practitioners.
No, I get you.
And they use their credentials to back up
to push
the
another
campaign
agenda
against vaccination.
Oh yes,
so
I get you.
Those are not people who are actually using science. They are using religion to back up this nonsense. And then use their badge of qualification as proof that they know better than everybody else in that space of bullshit.
I've got a problem with somebody when I'm trying to reason with them and they try to use their qualification to discard my reasoning. I'm not going to argue with a document of qualification. What if you bought it, or what if you copied at the exams? And I've got valid points, and you're going to tell me that you went to fucking Harvard. I don't give a fucking rat's ass. Give me points.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, you remember that Trump bought doctors at the beginning of this thing to actually discredit the whole idea of the existence of COVID-19 in the first place.
I think I remember when they were talking about hydroquinone or something.
Hydroquinone, yes.
Yeah, that thing.
They were saying that hydroquinone fixes this thing quickly.
Hydrochloroquine or something like that.
There was no scientific proof.
Yeah.
Yes. So,
okay.
So you see, there will always be quacks. They call them quacks. These doctors who tend to choose an off-ramp when the reality is that way, they off-ramp just to have their own 10 seconds of fame.
Because of hydrochloroquine. I think it was. I'll look it up before we broadcast this thing. I'll look it up and write the actual name.
Yeah,
but I remember it was hydrochloroquine or something. So, but the woman was endorsing that was a Nigerian woman, very flamboyant. I remember a bit chubby. She's been practicing in the US for I think she was practicing there for a good 2 decades, straight from Lagos. But she says I've been should I fake the Nigerian accent?
Make my day or make my night for that matter.
I don't think I'm good at it. you know. And then she's got this other heavy Nigerian accent. Hydroquinone works. It works. Hydroquinone. So I got my patients and they come and then they get healed. 5 days ago, corona gone, finished. And then the people are like, hydroquinone. And then
now imagine white people having to hire a black person to push their point.
And then
there's something clearly wrong there.
I remember they even blocked her from Sham. It was so embarrassing. They blocked her from all media. I remember the YouTube blocked her. Facebook blocked her, Twitter blocked her. Eventually, at some stage, Donald Trump got blocked. Even today, Donald Trump got blocked.
Yeah.
He's no longer the president. He's fucked. Well, and then now it's another conspiracy that people will say, the New World Order wants to dominate. They're going to block these ones who are woke. Who are woke. They want to show us the light, and they want to block them. Yeah, continue.
So, I mean, like I was saying, like if when white people have to hire a black woman to defend their position, then you must know that something is very seriously wrong.
Yeah, why do you hire Kunta Kinte to come and tell the world what to do?
I mean, can you imagine white doctors deferring to a black woman?
Yeah, I mean,
can you imagine that in conservative America?
She was
because
actually,
you must remember those white doctors were Trump supporters, and Trump supporters are racist. Conservatives. So therefore, when they have to go and fetch a black woman to defend their case
from Nigeria, from fucking Nigeria, not anywhere where like maybe with the street credibility of medical stuff, like maybe South Africa, and say this guy is from what who's the best here? Maybe Medunsa, I don't know. They just took somebody from Lagos to say.
Somebody who might not even have been to medical school.
No, she started as a nurse, apparently. Like, she was just a random nurse. Well, not saying that there's anything wrong being a nurse and then building up your career as you go. But
absolutely, yes.
You're right. And then they just got one puppet to come and say the one word so many times.
No, they had to find one. It was quite critical that they find one. So really, Nipro, you have to step back. At times you need to step back and understand that sometimes things are as simple as they seem. There is a virus, and you need a vaccine against the virus. As simple as that. You don't have to interrogate. If your doctor, the doctor that you've been consulting all these years, they've been giving you injections for whatever you've been suffering from and complaining from. Yeah. And they say to you, go and take that vaccine. Just go and take the vaccine. Don't wait for the guy at the guy you always meet at the bus stop while you're waiting for a taxi to start telling you how bad this thing is. It's going to make your entire family go mad.
Or become a zombie.
Or become a zombie.
It's not at a taxi, Craig. This is
your manhood.
This is not even at a taxi, my man. You know, I suspect these things are happening at where people are always idle, or idling, or just free. Like you said, an idle brain.
I'm just making the lowest level of an example. I know people who have got university degrees, who have got such affiliated their minds to such arguments. But the bottom line is that, like I said, the most intelligent brain, if it is not activated, it will descend to bullshit at any given point in time. You need to people need to start asking the right kind of questions.
Exactly.
And asking them at the right kind of people who can give them the correct answers to those questions. Because otherwise, you cannot just go asking random people questions that are very difficult to answer, and which you need a special person to answer.
From subject experts. From subject.
Yes, you need to talk to subject experts. And when somebody advances a theory that people are suffering from XYZ because of the vaccine, then the next question you must ask: can you show me those people that are having such outcomes from having accepted the vaccine? We've got 10 million people in South Africa who have taken the vaccine. I've never heard that there's a group of zombies that are marching around and because they've been vaccinated, they're marauding all over the place. And actually, people who are not vaccinated are the ones who are marauding and looting and
behaving like zombies.
Yes, and actually fueling more infections in the process.
At the same time,
so, let's just be very, very careful about the kind of stories we listen to. And I mean, every day you hear people saying so and so is dead, and the person is not dead. But a whole lot of people believe it. And one of the biggest problems, Nipro, is this: the over-reliance on social media as an informer.
The beat and all.
Yes. You read It was forwarded to you by your cousin who is in grade 8. And you read, and here you are. You're a fully grown adult. You read it, and you say, yeah. And then you forward it to somebody else. And then, the whole thing starts going on and on and on. It's a domino effect.
Next thing, it becomes the truth.
And eventually,
a true lie.
5 million people. Yes, 5 million people who've got bullshit in their heads. And they've got, not even one of them has tried to trace the story back to its origins.
They don't
so
even,
that they can interrogate it properly.
Chief, they don't care where this shit comes from. As long as it looks interesting and then it serves whatever in their head thinks is right, they're not going to question. Another biggest problem now, what we're facing is people not paying attention to detail. A simple thing, man. I'm not even let's not even talk about COVID on this one. A simple thing, a very, very simple thing. If you were to ask a guy, you just walk out of your house now. I can walk out from here, or just that it's in the evening now while you're doing this. But you on a random day, let's walk out in the street and ask a random person how many days we have in a year. You're not gonna get an answer at a go. I'm telling you. And these are people who think the vaccine is going to, at the level where they dissect the information of vaccine, they don't know how many days we have in a year. And they've been alive for almost 20 something years, 30 something. They can't even tell us what a leap year is. These are people that we should be like, oh, okay, absolutely. This guy has a point.
I agree. I agree, Nico. I agree. Just yesterday, a cousin of mine sends me forwarded a message on WhatsApp which says that if you chew on raw okra, it cures COVID.
Okra is what sounds like some Nigerian vegetable.
No, okra.
What is
okra? Okra mandande.
Mandande, derere.
Yes.
Derere. Oh, is that? Oh, derere is called okra. It sounds like a Nigerian name.
Yes, it's called okra.
Okra, okay, yeah. So they said if you chew on derere, what happens?
it will cure COVID. So I asked her,
but it doesn't have.
Do you believe this? And she says yes. And I say, okay. Do you remember right at the beginning last year there were people saying that lechana cures COVID, and there was a big brouhaha that. This country,
Madagascar
is being stopped from exporting a juice made from this plant.
Lignane. Like Chimbombe Mara, is it Lechana? Okay, they've got funny names, but there's various names.
So and I said to her, go back and check where Madagascar is with that cure of it. It's nowhere because it doesn't work. So if you want to believe that you're not gonna vaccinate, you're gonna chew on derere, go right ahead. You will fucking die.
Well, with the Madagascar, I can defend it, but with derere, I can tell you for free that's bullshit. Madagascar, I've got a friend who's importing a tonic drink from there made out of that mixture. Is it a concoction? Is it concoction? What's the difference?
Yeah.
Is it concoction or concoction? If my English is bad. Concoction.
Yes.
Which one is concoction? Concoction is the one of.
Concussion is when you get bumpy and then you.
Oh, so concoction is a mixture.
It's a mixture.
Yeah. So that Madagascar concoction of a tonic with lignane. I've drank it a few times. Yeah, they've got a name there. It's written on ingredients. I used to have it at the house, just that I ran out. But sometimes when I feel a bit fluish, I'll drink it and then I'll wake up okay in the morning. It will have like a... Yeah, it's like a typical...
But there's a difference between flu and COVID.
No, I'm just saying sometimes it's like a
I'm not saying that it doesn't... I mean, for instance, if I'm feeling fluish, right? And I drink lemon and ginger with honey.
Yeah.
It eases that. But if I've got COVID, that shit is not gonna save me from COVID.
Especially with the new variant. Well, yeah, cool. That's a good argument. So, but we're not saying that it's like a beat and all for it, but we're saying somehow we could fix these fluish symptoms.
It might work in easing like your flu, your cold.
Yes, yeah.
But for somebody to stand up and say this thing will cure COVID, that's irresponsible.
Yeah, no. I understand that part. No. You're making so much sense. Because another challenge, going back to the easy misinformed societies. How do we, in closing, how do we fix this? Because I don't want us to talk here for an hour and not have a solution. I want us to have a watertight solution. I'm going to tell you my one. My one is going to be a bit autocratic, though. I want you to give me your solution to all these denialists and anti-vaccine people. How do we deal with them?
Okay, you don't deal with the denialists, the propagators of the information.
Yeah.
You counter the perceptions that are created.
Like what we're doing now, weekend, like having this dialogue is it's actually trying to eradicate, right?
When I was telling you I was in a meeting yesterday.
Yeah, but by the way, you stalled me. I was waiting for you for the whole day. Yeah. Your meetings never ended. Yeah. By the way, guys, we were supposed to do this thing a day ago. He was very busy. Yeah. When you're in the meeting, you're doing what?
that meeting I was in yesterday was a meeting which was called by a group called the Event Industry Alliance.
Who are they?
Events Industry Alliance. It's an alliance of industries and people who are involved in events, which is like
you mean like our industry, but not like gigs though, but like any event. It could be a conference or whatever.
It could be conferences, it could be sport, it could be all events,
stadium.
People are involved in that space and the value chains.
Okay, but even as the entertainers would also be represented there by somebody, right?
You're also represented.
Yeah.
Actually, I was there as a representative on behalf of SAMIC.
Oh, okay. Which one is SAMIC again?
It's your industry representative, the South African Music Industry Council.
Oh, yes. Oh, you're sitting in that one. I didn't know. I didn't know at all. So what was the outcome?
We were finalizing a draft document that was going to be discussed at NEDLEC today. Actually, it was being presented at NEDLEC today.
Okay.
By the Alliance.
Oh, okay.
The aim is to assist the government in creating a new level of awareness and education so that the government can allow a concession that says we can open up people to attend events on condition that they are vaccinated. So in other words, you are saying we want to circumvent the propagandists by opening up for people to feel the need to go and vaccinate it simply because they want to go to a football game or they want to attend a gig or those kind of things.
Yeah, but now most people are saying that's been bullied.
No, you're not bullying them.
But that's what they're saying.
If you don't want to. No, but that's not bullying.
But that's what they're saying.
I mean, like, for instance, but Nipro, when I say to you, don't bring alcohol to my event, you choose to either not come if you want to have your alcohol, or to come.
Stay at home.
The alcohol.
Stay at home.
Yes. It's not different.
Okay. And then was that part of the resolution? What else did you put in the thing? Did you pass a bill or what did you do?
No, what we did was to put together that proposal. It's quite a comprehensive proposal. That was, you know what NEDLEC is?
You're cutting there. Say that again.
Do you know what NEDLEC is?
Yeah.
Yeah, NEDLEC is the forum where government and a partner forum where government and industries meet to discuss challenges and find solutions.
Yes.
So the eventing industry met at NEDLEC today to present to NEDLEC the solutions for events to be opened up for people to attend.
But the condition is?
And as I was speaking, Huh?
The condition is what? Because there has to be a rule here.
The conditions, as I told you, that people will have to have proof of vaccination to be able to attend these events.
So I don't have to lose my vaccine card, right? To enter into FNB.
Well, your
I would
vaccine
need a
card
vaccine card.
It's not going to help you because those things can be copied and faked. There's going to be an electronic.
How are you going to prove to the FNB gate, FNB Stadium gate, that I was vaccinated? How are you going to run this?
There's going to be an electronic system, a verification system. So when you go buy your ticket,
like you're gonna marry the vaccine system with CompuTicket, for example.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So when you go to buy your ticket,
okay,
you take your ID with.
No.
You only purchase your ticket once your ID has been verified to be vaccine positive, that you've been vaccinated.
So whoever is a vendor for ticketing for that particular show should have a data of who is being vaccinated. So health and event coordinators.
They don't have to have the data. They just connect to the server of the Department of Health server, because all that information is there. And everybody is only allowed to buy one ticket, because you cannot go and buy a ticket on behalf of somebody else.
So you're gonna buy for the guy who's an anti-vaxxer.
Yes, because everybody must go with their own ID so that the seller can see it's you in the ID.
But Craig, you're still gonna be accused of bullying people to vaccinate. Anyway, they're gonna say it's against their human rights.
Well,
shit.
They can accuse you of bullying, but if I'm saying to you, I'm actually running the event myself.
Yeah.
It's not the government, it's me.
Yeah, like a private.
And I'm saying to you,
private organization. I mean.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because the event organizers are private company.
Most of the time.
Yes.
There's also government shows, though.
We are saying the government must not do shows. Yes.
Oh, you're opening for the private.
Yes, the private sector, because the idea is to boost economic activity in that sector.
Okay. Cool, makes sense.
Yes.
I agree. But they're going to say I'm agreeing because I'm vaccinated. So they're going to say I'm part of this and I'm paid for this shit. And that's the way it is.
Look, the bottom line is that if you are not vaccinated, you'll soon find yourself watching everything on TV. Because not being able to go to.
Craig, you just made it worse by announcing that you're sitting in those meetings. I never knew until we did this interview. They're going to say, oh, even your friends, they sit there and they make these decisions. I never knew Craig was part of the fucking NEDLAC discussion of how to go forward after this thing. Like how to open up the industry. I just heard this thing now as much as you're watching this shit at the same time. So there's no way. There's no conspiracy. Like I want no. This is gonna not look good for me.
And for your information, Nipro, today when I was missing, when I had to shift our meeting, this session, was because I was finalizing a proposal, particularly for the music industry.
That's our side. That's my side.
I was finalizing that.
Yeah.
So which has got its own nuances, which are not necessarily contained in the generic document that was presented to NEDLAC today.
Okay.
But watch the space. I think there's going to be some very interesting developments in the coming weeks.
Maybe you can. Are you allowed to give us maybe an estimate of a turnaround time on a solution, or on passing the whatever that you were discussing?
We are weary of the biggest challenge right now is that sitting at 10 million, we're 35 million short of herd immunity in the country.
Which will make a total of 45 million people?
Yes, to make a total of 45 million people.
Is that our target?
Herd immunity.
That's our target?
Yeah, that's the target.
So we're like what? We are almost right around 30% of the population. Am I right?
Yeah.
More or less somewhere there.
We more or less there. So the biggest challenge is to say that we analysts and experts are saying that the next wave curve which should hit us in December,
which is the fourth wave.
The idea is the fourth wave. So the idea is that can we rapidly improve the country's vaccination rollout so that at least by the time the fourth wave hits, we are as close to herd immunity as possible.
Which is like 70% at least. Close to December, yes. I think we can double it. It's possible. We just need to eradicate these bad thoughts.
These exactly my point. That's why these engagements that I'm telling about, yes, these engagements that I'm telling you about are aimed at making sure that we get as close to those numbers as possible, and as well to say that, can we also in the process, if vaccination becomes, we boost vaccinations. We at the same token, we are able to boost the reopening of business activity, and which will then make sure that a lot of people go back to work, and we can then start kickstarting the economic recovery of the country. It's a comprehensive program that we're working on.
And it's good that you're involved in that. Thanks a lot, my man. I think maybe for now, let's pause it at this. And I'm sure this will be a never-ending conversation if you think about it. Because I estimate we're going to be struggling with this thing for another year or two. But we're going to get it right if as long as we're all in sync, and then we all share the same value, and we're transparent, and we're not misleading each other. And that's why we're having this dialogue, and nobody pays for this, or nobody's sponsoring this thing. Where at humble beginnings of NippyCast, nobody even cares. Actually, nobody even watches this. Okay, before I go, can I tell you what I would do as a solution besides sitting in NetLag and your meetings and trying to listen to these people? There was a guy who passed on a couple of years ago. He used to be a president of a country called Zimbabwe. That guy is Robert Mugabe. I would apply a Robert Mugabe solution on this one. I would fucking vaccinate you by force, all of you. You'd vote me out. Yeah, I don't care. I'll vaccinate you.
Unfortunately, we're in South Africa.
Fuck democracy. All these people are spoiled by Mandela, man.
Yeah, we live in a country which is,
I'm kidding. My name is DJ Nipro. That's Craig Mukhuba. He was a contributor today at NippyCast Conspiracy Theory, follow-up from NippyCast 6. So this will be at an ongoing basis until we're okay with the fact that there's a lot of conspiracy surrounding us, amongst other ones. Thank you for watching. If you've been watching, we'll catch you next time. Craig, keep safe. Don't die from COVID. Sure.
Okay, man.
Hola.
It was a good discussion.
Sweet, man. Second half.
Uh,
Sure.